one of the stars of the Brisbane Heat is Nathan McSweeney, who joins us from Brisbane. Nathan, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Looking forward to it.
It's been a crazy old summer for you. Highs, lows, everything in between. How would you describe the last few months?
Yeah, a bit of chaos. Obviously, a very good start to the summer, and probably a dream come true, definitely. And then obviously didn't work out the way I wanted to. And then get back in the Brisbane Heat colours and play really well to start, and then again haven't quite nailed it since. So it's definitely been a summer of ups and downs so far, and hopefully, as you said, we can bounce off that win we had the other night and get the ball rolling again for the Brisbane Heat.
There's so many similarities between you and Pete, with the fact that, playing Test cricket and then in the same summer going back and having to play in the BBL. Both of you are such brilliant first-class players to adjust your game to play white ball cricket. When you're chopping and changing, I'll ask you first, Nathan. What's it like? How difficult is it for you?
It probably wasn't a bad thing for me, to be honest. I think being able to come back and just free me up a little bit was probably a good thing for my batting. In my game in T20 cricket, a lot of it's just revolved around good cricket shots and taking the odd risk here and there. But my role in the Brisbane Heat is trying to be an anchor kind of role, and it's probably not too dissimilar to some of the strokes I'd play in, the back end of a Shield innings or definitely a one-day innings. So for me, it's probably not a bad thing for my game and something that I'll take note moving forward.
How did you find it, Pete?
Yeah, I found it really tough. I think it's quite hard going from the highs and lows of Test cricket, and then having to come back in and trying to perform straight away. But I think, Nathan, you mentioned that freedom that you can get by going back to Big Bash, and almost it's not caring about it, but you can go out there and have a crack, and failing in T20s okay sometimes. So to go back and test your arm out and see what shots you can hit can be quite freeing. So did you change anything technically to go from Test cricket back to T20s? Because I know I've tried to do that sometimes and struggled a little bit with it. So I was just wondering if you changed anything, or if you just backed yourself like you sort of said.
Yeah, I try and stay away from changing anything. Especially with my grip, I like knowing where my bat face is, and I don't like tinkering with that. Some guys do. So I just probably played a few more shots and was able to get away with it. And I nailed it when I first came back, but had a lean couple of scores. So I guess it's the game that when you think you've got it nailed, it always shoots you down. And there's areas that there's always continue to work on and areas of focus.
So I'm just interested in that, like going back and playing that first game was well documented. I must confess, I was sitting watching on the couch thinking, how good is this, considering the disappointment of losing your place in the Test team, the character, the resolve to be able to do what you did first up. Take us back to that night and what it was like, and just that, I guess, that feeling of going back and playing, massive television audience, knowing what had gone on for the last week or so to perform the way you did.
Yeah, it was it was a weird feeling. Obviously, I think for me, it's a great place to be after some bad news. I think my family's up there. A lot of my good mates are from Brisbane, so to be able to share some time with them, also just get back out in the cricket field, something I love doing, and not sitting in a hotel room just feeling sorry for myself. So I think that was actually a good thing. To able to make some runs and win the game, was a definite bonus. And it was probably an important thing for me, looking back on it now, that I definitely needed to get back out there and play cricket and spend some time around some friends and family.
Did it rock your confidence, what had happened, or is it just part of your journey?
Oh, I think it definitely takes a hit for sure. Your confidence. It's never a nice phone call, but I guess like Pete and like a lot of other guys that played for Australia, it's never smooth sailing, and there's a lot of people that have been left out before and come back and been really successful. So hopefully I'm one of them, and I can get back in the nets and learn from my experiences and really bounce back and Shield cricket this year and going forward.
How did you find it in your situation, Pete? And similar to Nathan, burst onto the scene, get your opportunity, and then you're told you can't play for Australia anymore, but we want you to go back and play in the BBL.
Yeah, again, it's tough to do it, but I think credit to Nathan and I think the mindset that he's taken there, going back and seeing it as a positive opportunity to go back and prove yourself again that you are good enough. Not only proving it to the selectors and the country, because now everyone's watching you, your name is under lights, but also just proving it to yourself that you are still good enough to play this game, and it can rock your confidence, and it can be really, really tough. But yeah, sometimes you need those knocks to just make yourself feel good again and trust yourself. And then it all just starts to feel good again. And it's a tough game, cricket. You go through those lows, but the more lows you go through, the closer you are to actually scoring those runs again. So, it'd be great for Nate to hopefully have another opportunity in Sri Lanka, and learning, I think, the confidence that you've taken from being in the setup to being out to back in, that's going to help you go forward in a big way.
So, Nathan, I just want to go back to that whole thing which Pete talked about you, when you go back, but it's a different version of the game, which is not something that necessarily becomes as natural to. It's not like they're asking you to go back and play shield cricket and spend 4 hours in the middle, which is something you do so well, where you've got to, I would imagine you've got to really understand your own game and not sort of step outside your own game when you go back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. And for me, playing those tests, I was, wanting to make sure I performed the way I was trying to perform in shield cricket, and didn't want to be something I wasn't. And I was content with that. And I said that at the start, if we get an opportunity, I'm going to play the way I've been playing. If it doesn't quite work out, I can live with that. So I think, it's the same when you get dropped is, what did I do that got me there? What I learned, and just try and, keep solving problems is what batting is a lot of the time, and bounce back really strongly.